guys. This is Astrology for Beginners. Part 1 to 4 is what is a birth chart. Part 5 is the framework. It's long, a little complex, but totally necessary. Part 6, also long. It's on Mars. It's the one we did right before this, but it's really simple. Long but simple. And Aries is what we're doing right now. So if you haven't done any of the above, please go back and do so. All right, so right now we're talking about Aries. First and foremost, let me emphasize, this is why I've drawn this funky chart beneath Aries. Aries is in your birth chart. It might not be a sun sign. It might not even have any placements, but Aries is there. Okay, so even if you don't have an Aries sun, this applies to you. All right, Aries. Okay. Aries, this is the sign of Aries. All right, that's how you can find it in your chart. Every energetic frequency of a zodiac sign is going to have like high vibes and low vibes, okay? Like the expression can be in either. It just depends on our awareness. So Aries in terms of high vibes would be like this innocence, this wonder. It's almost like childish, but it's like this excitement that's incredible. A pioneer, like they're gonna trek and make the trail that everybody takes, essentially. And they can be very brave, very direct, very honest. Lower vibes that we associate with Aries can be impulse, because they're not listening to that instinct. They're just, doing the thing. And then the other thing can be a little reckless sometimes. And then ego is a word that you are often going to find associated with Aries. And this will relate to our next lesson, part 8, where we discuss the houses. But ultimately, the reason this is because if you go back to that lesson about Mars, right? And fire and action, that differentiates us as individuals. It does not aim to be like everybody else. And that is why it's often associated with ego, like our base core instinct that wants us to be different, that wants us to be special, right? And also, Aries is associated with the body because Mars rules Aries. Everything that was associated with Mars is also associated with Aries. The difference being is that I would say that Aries is the adverb. Oh my gosh, how are you guys going to read this backwards? The thing that describes the... So wherever Aries is in your chart, because remember, it's in your chart, it's going to show you a place where this energetic frequency, okay, is expressed in your life in some way, which is where the houses come in, right? But this energetic signature is in your chart, okay? In mine, because I'm a Libra rising, Aries is my descendant. So this sort of attitude, so to speak, comes out in my relationships. It could be for you in the second house. This could be all about values and security, in which case, anyways, we will get into it, but ultimately, moving forward, something you're going to see in astrology, because Aries is the natural, traditional, standard leader of the zodiac. It's the first zodiac sign. It's the beginning of the astrological season. It's like the astrological New Year's when Aries comes. Western tropical astrology, it's the spring, sort of, but March. So, on the cusp of spring. But it is the beginning. It is a cardinal sign, which is also important to note, and that is everything to do with the fact that the beginning, the first house. A lot of the times you will see Aries and the first house used interchangeably in the description of it, okay? It'll be Aries or the first house. Because this energetic signature, it relates to Mars, and it will always relate to the first house, even if Aries isn't there. Because there are some things that are just, they can be pulled. The last thing I need to tell you about Aries, see, this one isn't as long because Mars covered all the necessities. So Mars, we're differentiating, we're expressing our individuality, we're asserting our agency and the things that make us different, right? It's like the way that we get what we want, and it's a very individual expression. And then Aries is the part in our chart where it relates again to Mars. So wherever Mars is in your chart relates to where Aries, the house, is. Because Mars rules Aries. So even if Mars is at the opposite side of your chart, say you're in Aries rising, okay? And you have Mars in Libra, that Mars in Libra impacts, this is a teapot, your first house. Because Aries is in your first house, right? But like you could move it anyway. Like Aries could be in your second house, and say Mars is then still in Libra because it's always going to be across from Aries, but that could be your 8th house, right? Either way, those two things, even though technically they're opposites, are interacting and influencing each other solely because Mars rules Aries. Okay? Now the next lesson, we're going to go into the houses. The other thing, the only last thing I want to summarize here is if you are an Aries rising, I can speak from personal experience. My son is an Aries rising. And holy smokes, if you guys learn how to harness that energy, because you are that traditional first sign, the beginning of the zodiac, for whatever reason, you're able to like pull on those energies throughout the seasons and really see them assert themselves in their life in these really, really big ways. You will understand more as we get into more of the houses. But again, the important part to take away from here, Mars rules Aries. Aries and the first house, those terms are indistinguishable in astrology. Okay? Let me know if this makes sense or if you have any questions, because right now we're going to go to the first house. Love you all. Have a great day.